Hey, Steelers Nation! Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the hottest takes, freshest news, and in-depth analysis on everything Pittsburgh Steelers. Today, we're talking about some potential moves that could take this team to the next level, and there's a lot to unpack. From a free agent wide receiver still sitting on the market to an unexpected NFL draft prediction that could shake up our roster, we're diving deep into what these changes could mean for our playoff hopes and the future of our Steelers. Before we get into all the details, please smash that like button if you're enjoying our content, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Your support helps us bring you more Steelers coverage every week. Alright, let's dive in and see what the rest of the season could have in store. Just because General Manager Omar Khan recently traded for Mike Williams doesn't mean Pittsburgh has to be done boosting its receiver room. There's no such thing as too many options when it comes to playmakers, especially with a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson under center. Every QB loves having multiple reliable targets, and while George Pickens and Williams make an imposing duo, adding another versatile weapon could truly make the Steelers' offense unstoppable. That's where Hunter Renfrow comes into the picture. Renfrow is a proven slot receiver who's shown he can be a difference-maker on the field. Known for his shifty route running and secure hands, Renfrow has yet to land with a new team, even though several franchises could use his skill set. It's possible that he's waiting for the right fit, and Pittsburgh just might be the answer. Renfrow brings experience and reliability, two qualities the Steelers could use as they push towards the playoffs. Could Renfrow be the missing link? While Calvin Austin III and Van Jefferson have had their moments, the team could benefit from a more seasoned player in the slot, especially as the competition heats up. Renfrow's presence could provide consistency and open up new options for Wilson, allowing him to spread the ball around even more effectively. Steelers fans might be wondering why the team hasn't been connected to Renfrow in free agency rumors, especially considering our need for wide receiver depth earlier in the season. The answer might be simple: the front office wanted to see how the team developed with Williams on the roster first. But if the Steelers are serious about building an offense that can compete with the league's top teams, adding Renfrow could be a low-risk, high-reward move. Renfrow's arrival would mean Pittsburgh could line up Pickens and Williams on the outside with Renfrow working the middle, giving Wilson three potent options on any given play. This arrangement would force defenses to cover every inch of the field, making it nearly impossible to double-team our top threats. Plus, Renfrow's knack for making tough catches in clutch situations could provide a serious boost to Pittsburgh's late-game offense. Let's face it, the Roman Wilson experiment hasn't worked out as planned. If the Steelers really want to make a statement, adding a player like Renfrow could signal to the league that Pittsburgh is serious about going deep in the playoffs. While no move is guaranteed, this is certainly one to watch. As if potential free agent signings weren't enough to get excited about, draft season is starting to creep up, and the Steelers have a big decision to make with their first-round pick. As of now, projections have Pittsburgh selecting at number 21, and a recent mock draft from The Athletic suggests the team could go with an unexpected pick, Jalen Walker, the star outside linebacker from Georgia. Walker is one of the most dynamic defenders in this year's class. Known for his athleticism, playmaking ability, and knack for performing in high-stakes games, he would undoubtedly be a valuable asset to any defense. Walker already has 4.5 sacks this season, and he's a big-game player. Just look at his 3-sack game against top-ranked Texas. His intensity and consistency make him an ideal fit for Pittsburgh's defensive culture, but this projection raises questions. After all, the Steelers' linebacker room is stacked. With elite talents like TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, along with recent additions Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson, some fans might wonder if the Steelers really need another linebacker. There's also the recent acquisition of Preston Smith to add depth to the lineup, so a linebacker might not be the biggest need. Still, the philosophy of drafting the best player available is strong among analysts, and Walker could fit that mold perfectly at pick number 21. The Steelers have had great success drafting players from Georgia, like offensive tackle Broderick Jones and wide receiver George Pickens, so maybe they're hoping to keep that pipeline going. Adding Walker to an already strong defense wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but some fans are already calling for Pittsburgh to address other positions in the draft. Let's break down a few other options that analysts have floated for the Steelers' first-round pick. Wide receiver. There are rumors linking Pittsburgh to Texas's Isaiah Bond, a quick and elusive receiver who could be a great slot option if the team doesn't go after Renfrow in free agency. Bond's playmaking ability could give the Steelers another dimension on offense. Quarterback. Miami's Cam Ward has come up as a potential option in case the Steelers want to start grooming a young quarterback behind Wilson. Ward is known for his dual-threat ability and leadership skills, which could make him a valuable asset down the line. Offensive tackle. protecting the quarterback is always a priority, and Ohio State's Josh Simmons is a name to watch. Adding another elite tackle to the roster could bolster the offensive line and give Wilson even more time to connect with his receivers. These options suggest that the Steelers have flexibility and plenty of intriguing choices, so it will be interesting to see how the season plays out and what direction the team takes in the draft. So, what would these moves actually mean for the team? If the Steelers sign Renfrow, Wilson would immediately have a reliable slot receiver, which could transform Pittsburgh's passing game. Renfrow would add depth and bring valuable experience to a young receiver room, increasing the Steelers' offensive firepower. On the defensive side, drafting Walker would add yet another dynamic player to an already talented unit. Imagine a defense with T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Patrick Queen, and Walker rotating in and out. It would be a nightmare for opposing offenses. Walker's intensity and ability to disrupt plays would add a new layer to Pittsburgh's already ferocious pass rush. These moves, while seemingly unrelated, both support the same goal, creating a more balanced, well-rounded team. Pittsburgh has relied heavily on its defense in the past, but with the recent additions on offense, there's a sense that this year's Steelers are more capable of scoring when it counts. Renfrow would give Wilson another reliable option in the slot, while Walker could solidify the defense's status as one of the league's most dominant. Now, Week 10 usually doesn't bring as much playoff-level excitement as some later games, but this one's different. When the schedule was released, few people expected the Steelers and Commanders to be such high-performing teams this season. Both teams have surpassed expectations, and with only a few games left before Thanksgiving, a win here could really set the tone for a strong playoff push. The Steelers are sitting high after a well-timed bye week, giving key players time to recover and refocus. With a fresh lineup and a strong defensive unit, the Steelers are looking to hit the ground running against Washington. On the other hand, the Commanders have been putting up an impressive season, sitting at 7-2, with a balanced offense and a defense that's been locking teams down. This is shaping up to be a real test for Pittsburgh, and both sides are going to be looking for any advantage they can get. Let's talk about what's been unfolding over in Washington and how it could impact this game. For those who haven't been following, the Commanders' kicker, Austin Seibert, has been having a fantastic season. Seibert's consistency has been key for Washington, especially in those nail-biting, close games. He's made 25 out of 27 field goal attempts, including a booming 55-yarder, which makes him the most successful kicker in terms of attempts and makes in the entire NFL right now. But here's where it gets interesting. Seibert is currently dealing with a hip injury, and that could seriously affect his performance. Kicking isn't just about leg strength, it's also about precision, and a hip injury can throw that off. In a game that could come down to just 1 or 2 field goals, Seibert's health is something Washington fans are understandably worried about. If Seibert can't suit up, Washington's backup kicker, Zane Gonzalez, will have to take his place. While Gonzalez has had a solid career in the league, he hasn't played since 2021. Going from being off the field for over a season to playing in a high-pressure game could be a tough transition for him. In short, if Gonzalez steps in, he might not have the same reliability as Seibert, and that's something Pittsburgh can look to capitalize on. If there's one area where the Steelers have been rock solid in 2024, it's special teams. Coach Danny Smith has led a unit that's performed consistently well all season. Special teams is often overlooked, but when games come down to field goals or field position, having a reliable kicker like Chris Boswell can make all the difference. Boswell has been performing at a high level, sitting just behind Seibert in total field goal attempts this season. Boswell's experience and consistency give Pittsburgh a leg up, especially if it's Gonzalez kicking on the other side. Boswell has proven time and again that he can handle high-pressure kicks, which is essential in a game expected to be this close. The Steelers' special teams unit as a whole has been performing at a high level, and having the boss as a reliable option might give Pittsburgh the confidence to make key plays late in the game. The Commanders learned a hard lesson about kicker reliability earlier this season in a game against the New York Giants. The Giants entered that game without a backup plan for their kicker, Graham Gano, who ended up injured on the opening kickoff. Washington took full advantage, and Seibert's leg helped them pull off a close 21-18 victory. Now, with the roles potentially reversed, it could be Pittsburgh's turn to benefit from the Commanders' kicking troubles. Let's talk about the timing of this game for the Steelers. Pittsburgh's bye week came at an ideal moment. With a bit of rest and time to refocus, the team is coming into this game at near full strength. After a hard-fought first half of the season, Pittsburgh is looking to make the most of this opportunity to showcase what they can do with a well-rested squad. The Commanders, on the other hand, haven't had their bye week yet, and it shows. The team has been dealing with several injuries, and fatigue might start to play a role in this matchup. That's especially true when you consider the toll an injury to a key player like Seibert can take on the overall game plan. In a game that might come down to a field goal, Pittsburgh's health advantage and well-prepared special teams could make the difference. If Seibert can't play, Washington will have to go with Gonzalez, who's been out of action for a while. Even if he can step in, there's always a question of whether he can perform at Seibert's level, especially in such a critical game. With all of these factors in play, here's what Steelers fans can expect. Pittsburgh is entering this game in a great position, especially when it comes to special teams. If Boswell is up against a rusty Gonzalez instead of Seibert, that could mean the difference in a tight game. It's not every day you can point to the kicking game as a potential deciding factor, but this week, it's something that Steelers Nation should keep an eye on. We're talking about two strong teams, and any advantage could be enough to push one over the top. For the Steelers, a victory here could cement their position as a serious playoff contender. With a win, they'd be carrying a lot of momentum into the second half of the season. For Washington, winning without their star kicker would be a huge statement of resilience, but it won't be easy. Both teams are gearing up for a showdown, and this matchup could be one for the books. If the Steelers' defense and special teams continue to play at their current high level, and if Boswell can capitalize on any special teams mishaps from Washington, Pittsburgh has a real chance to make a statement and pull out a crucial victory. Alright, Steelers Nation, that's the latest on potential moves that could take this team to new heights. Would you like to see Hunter Renfrow in black and gold, giving Wilson one more trusted target? And what do you think about Jalen Walker potentially joining the Steelers through the draft? Do you agree with the strategy of taking the best player available, even if it means doubling down on our strengths? Let us know in the comments below, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for all the latest Steelers news and analysis. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, here we go, Steelers.